I would appreciate your thoughts on, first of all, I thought your defense, that was one of the best performances they had going back even to last year. But there was a couple times where guys launched themselves at offensive players to make a big hit without the wrap up and miss the tackle. Did that concern you, or you did aggression? How do you look at that, Coach?
Well, the start of the season, always comes down to the start of the season comes down to fundamentals in terms of defensively, tackling, getting off blocks, defending the deep part of the field, win our leverage and coverage. And we're just looking for improvement from week to week. So, it's the first time, playing as a group, and we got to do a good job of, tackling, that includes the wrap, the approach, everything there. But the first game of the season, across the league is where you see, the teams that tackle the best usually are the teams that are playing the better defense to start the season. So we're in the process of trying to improve that as much as possible.
Coach, how would you assess Tyree's performance, and I guess what do you want to see from him going forward?
The group as a whole, I thought the front did a solid job in terms of, trying to minimize the run and trying to, contain the pass rusher. There's some stuff we need to work on as we move forward, especially as we start as our focus is shifted to the Buffalo Bills, where, you're dealing with a dynamic quarterback, both passing the ball and also having the ability to run the ball, and the skill players they have offensively, the running backs, the receivers. So as we start to work forward on that, everybody's working hard as a group to improve, the early part of the season, just trying to improve our fundamentals in terms of the run game and the pass game, not to single any one player out. We, as a group, including myself, we have a ways to go to get where we want to get to.
Coach, Jacorian Bennett, as a rookie, is to start outside. Obviously, there's a couple of PIs, but he kind of stood his own. How beneficial is it for a guy like that to really just kind of not stick his toe in the water, but just dive in head first?
Experience is a great teacher for all the young players. Their chance to play in the NFL for the first time, get a chance to work the matchups, work the coverages, the tackling. The thing that you're looking for those young players is to see the improvement there, and it comes from getting experience. The speed of the game, the physicality of the game. That's the best teaching, the best learning that they'll get is actually to do it. So I would think it's a great benefit for them and for the rest of the young players.
Coach, when you made your second half adjustments, your defense, in my opinion, if I was to use a word to describe the second half, was grit. As a coach, how proud were you just to see them digging in, the grit, the fight, and the no quit?
It starts with the personnel evaluations from the personnel department. They do a good job of bringing in smart, tough, disciplined football players. And you hope that through the habits we built through spring and training camp and practice, that all that stuff becomes a habit from the way we practice and the way we prepare. And as a coach, you just wanted to show up on the field on Sunday. And so as you look at the film, obviously room for growth, but the fact to be able to have some grit during the third and fourth quarter, I would say definitely proud of that, but just recognizing that we have a long way to go.
We'll do last question for Adam.
Coach, you touched on it a little bit, but I guess, did you know Jacorian was as physical a tackler as he is and as willing a tackler? And to have him and Nate step up the way they did and make tackles, what does that do for the defense?
It all starts from the evaluation process. We value smart, tough, disciplined football players, and whether it's the cornerback position, the safety position, defensive line, linebacker. To play defensive football in this league, you have to be able to tackle, especially as the skill groups that were the skill players we're facing on a week-to-week basis. These guys are pretty dynamic. The offenses are trying to get them in space, trying to create angles in the run game, trying to create space in both the run and the pass. And it's important for us to be able to get these guys on the ground that's the main, focus. Aside from limiting points or limiting points, we got to be able to get the ball carriers on the ground. So that all goes into the evaluation process for all of them.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yep.
We good?
Yep, we're good.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Good
Hondo.
morning, Mick.
Hey,
Good morning,
Hondo.
Mick. I want to talk about your offensive line. I mean, I thought they battled, no sacks. I thought to me, I thought it was one of their most complete performances in the year in one game that you've been here. Very impressive, especially when I went back and rewatched the game. Did you share that sentiment, or if not, can you expand on your feelings there, please?
Yeah, I thought they pass protected very well, Hunter, like you said. No sacks in the game. Obviously, it's always a goal heading into it. But that takes, everyone. Jimmy did a great job of getting the ball out in time and stepping up in the pocket when he had to. I'm sure you guys, you saw some of those plays at the end of the game and early in the game when he scrambled and pushed up and the pocket was clean. And he had those alleys to run in, and credit to all those guys for keeping it firm and cleaning out the pocket when they could and trying to play physical against a good front in Denver. So very, very pleased with the way they pass protected. Obviously, every week in the NFL, it presents a challenge in terms of defensive front structure and blocking different things. So Buffalo plays a different structure in terms of front than Denver did. So we're up for a different task this week, but we're looking forward to it.
Coach, I know Hunter talked a lot in the offseason about being excited and kind of, being fired up for this season after being disappointed last season. I guess, what does he have to do to get more involved, and what would you like to see, I guess, more from him?
I mean, Hunter definitely has been involved throughout the summer and moving forward. I mean, he was a big part of the game plan in Denver, always is a big part of the game plan. It was a kind of a weird game, how it went in terms of the amount of plays and amount of series we got. Ran some really good routes on third down. Was open on the last play of the game when Jimmy scrambled and stuff like that. So, some days obviously production in terms of, catches and targets is something I know you guys look at a lot in terms of, that type of thing. But I thought Hunter did a good job of doing his job and being ready to go, and just kind of one of those weird games. And we had 6 possessions, and one of those was kneeled down at the end of the half. So it was a weird game where we used a little bit more 21 and 12 personnel throughout the first half, and kind of just felt like we wanted to keep drives going, and we had them going. But in terms of Hunter, I mean, he's done a great job in terms of doing his job at practice, and we look forward to kind of getting him integrated here as we move forward.
Nick, there's a stat that doesn't show on the stat sheet, and that was Jimmy taking what the defense gave him and making a quick read. I'm just curious, did you see it that way? I thought he did a very good job of just taking what they gave him and doing a quick read, not trying to do too much other than the one end zone, trying to force a ball. But I thought that was impressive. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think anytime your last question, I think this one goes hand in hand in terms of sacks and production, in terms of, defensive pressures. And there weren't a lot of them, but, the offensive line did a good job of staying inside out, and he did a good job of staying with his read and getting the ball out. And that's part of it. And, anytime your quarterback completes, above 75% of his passes or above 70% of his passes, you're pleased with how he, operates the offense. And, we obviously saw him do that this past Sunday, and that'll be a goal for him moving forward every week. But, I think, like I said, your first 2 questions go hand in hand. They're really the quarterback doing his job and getting the ball out, and the offensive line doing their job of staying inside out and ready to go.
Which I have a couple more. One offensive line was talked about the pass protection. In the run game, was it a matter of them just stacking the box, or I guess what do you guys have to do better?
I think across the board, tight end, offensive line, backs, whether it's the run read, double team, and we just got to make sure that all 11 players are connected. We talk about that a lot, right? Get it hand to hand in the running game. All 11 players are connected, so if there's one instance where one player either falls off on a double team, or the back reads the play wrong, or the receiver doesn't block the force player, you can have a run that doesn't go for a lot of yards. And I think that's a goal for us moving forward this week, is just saying, hey, let's get all 11 players connected, doing their job, because we want to make sure because that's really what makes a good run play go. And that's what we got to try and do a better job consistently. I mean, I think you saw them try and play physical. You saw them double team really well, and we just got to sustain our job better longer. And I think they're all aware of that, and we'll try and get that done this week in practice.
Obviously there was an unfortunate play with Jacoby late, but he had such a good game. What does it do to have a secondary receiver or a second receiver kind of establish himself when you have a star like Devontae on the other side?
Yeah, they do a lot of things right, both of those guys. Yeah, I think the whole receiver room does. I've known Jacoby for a while. I coached him obviously in New England in my time there. So I kind of knew the kid he was first, how the worker he was, and the player he is on Sunday. So nothing Jacoby did on Sunday surprised me, surprised our team, or surprised our unit. It's obviously nice to have a productive player, but it's obviously nice to have a dependable player. And that's how I see Jacoby Myers, is a very dependable guy who does his job, doesn't ask many questions, and just goes about his job and makes sure he tries and get better every day. I'm extremely proud of the way he's handled his career, and extremely looking forward to what's ahead of him.
We'll do last question.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Hey, Coach Mick, you were just talking about still trying to get the run established a little bit more. Sunday, we saw Zamir White get a carry off of a sweep. Just kind of, would you say everything that he's gone through in training camp with getting those reps, do you think that could, proceed into him getting even more reps throughout the season despite Josh Jacobs being back?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, it was one of those weird games, Levi. It was kind of, the series kind of went a certain way, and third down, Amir played a little bit, and then we had that long drive, and that's why you saw Zamir get in the game. So you start playing more drives and more series and more plays in the game, you're going to see a lot more substitutions and a lot more guys coming in now and getting involved. So Zamir was ready to go. He prepared, has been all summer, has been all season, and will continue to do so. So looking forward to what Zamir can bring for us.
One more, Mick. Adam has one more.
Yep.
Sorry. Can you still talk about the fact that you guys were able to get the ball and run the clock the way that you were to close out a game like that, to to have a position where you just have to run it down, you have to make plays, get first downs, keep the chains moving, and execute the way that you did. I guess how proud of you were of that, and how important is that for a team to be able to do that?
Yeah, I think just overall execution in the fourth quarter, getting the ball down 6 points, and going down there and score a touchdown in about 2 minutes, and then getting the ball back. Our defense, credit to our defense, because we get the lead for the defense, and then they get a big stop late in the game and give us the ball back with about 5 minutes left. And it's our time to try and go out there, and regardless of how we run the ball during the game or what it is, we got to go out there and try and execute some runs and eat some clock and get first downs, really, at the end of the day. So for us to run for a first down early and then get a third down conversion with Jacoby and Jimmy, and then obviously get the third down conversion with Jimmy at the end of the game. I mean, as a coach, you're extremely pleased with your guys for battling, being mentally tough, and having that stamina to execute their job in the fourth quarter, because that's really, at the end of the day, what separates wins and losses in this league. Every game's going to be close. I know there were a couple games around the league that this week that were kind of lopsided in terms of score, but my man on the Red Zone Network doesn't call it the witching hour for nothing. I mean, it's going to come down to the bitter end, and if you can execute your job in situation football, we put a stress and a big emphasis on that every week, and for them to go execute that, very, very, very fun to see as a coach.
All right, thanks, Mick. Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
guys, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.